Well, all day today, we are diving into the unemployment crisis in Wisconsin. More than 90,000 people in our state are still waiting for their benefits. The I-Team, in collaboration with Wisconsin Watch, uncovered what went wrong inside the Department of Workforce Development. Our investigation found millions of dollars spent on call centers with really short results. An audit found just 1 in 200 calls were answered from March to July.
You would wait 20 to 30 minutes for someone who would literally regurgitate what you could read online. It tells me that they spent a lot of money for no progress.
Through open records requests, the I-Team and Wisconsin Watch got an inside look at the communications and concern between top brass at DWD as a record number of people filed for unemployment. Joining us now to talk about this investigation this afternoon, we have TMJ4 News I-Team producer Marty Hobie, Jim Malowitz, and Bram Sable-Smith with Wisconsin Watch. Gentlemen, good to see you, and thanks for joining me. Let's talk about what the mood was inside DWD while the number of people filing for unemployment grew and grew and then just exploded. What did you find?
Yeah, well, early on in the pandemic, through the internal emails we obtained through open records requests, you see kind of a mix inside the department of there's some optimism, but also some recognition of just the Herculean task they had in front of them. You know, as DWD is quick to say, they handled 4 years worth of claims in 8 months because of this pandemic. And we saw a mixture of, early on, then Secretary Caleb Frostman told the staff, if we can get through May, we'll be cooking with gas by then, which was proved to be a little overly optimistic. But you also saw staff making suggestions about how they could better be in communication with people who are applying for unemployment to help make it easier. And that's something that's a problem that's continued to this day that it remains, we need work on it.
So in fairness, I mean, the system wasn't designed to handle this volume. That said, they got those call centers finally up and running. And then at least at that point, it still doesn't sound like people were getting the help they needed.
Correct. An audit found that the main call center wasn't fully staffed until mid-July. And up until that point, 1 in 200 calls were being answered. And the dozens of people we spoke with as part of these reports tell us once they finally did get through on the phone, they found that sometimes their process started over. Sometimes a box that was checked was unchecked and sent them deeper into adjudication, which is the process of finding what's wrong with their claim. And so even though the call center started to open up after mid-July, the problems weren't necessarily being solved.
And not done yet, too. We still have new claims coming in, plus this backlog. Do you guys have any idea when the backlog could ultimately be fixed?
Well, that's really hard to say. We're seeing the backlog shrink very, very slowly in recent weeks. But we're way past, several deadlines that DWD had announced earlier. As Bram mentioned, they certainly didn't take care of the issue in May, and in September as well. The DWD Secretary had thought that they might take care of it through October, and we're definitely past that as well. But we do know that there is some willingness from Republicans and Democrats to possibly invest in an upgrade to the 1970s era technology that is partially responsible for the backlog. So we might see that in the coming months, debate in the legislature about that. And we'll see if there's a deeper effort by the Department of Workforce Development to engage with residents who are confused about how to navigate the system and to explain how the system works.
Marty, Jim, Bram, thanks so much for joining me this afternoon. And I know your work is resonating. I'm hearing about it on social media, so appreciate that. And we'll continue to follow it through the day. Good to see you all.